Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you are all doing better than me. That is for sure. So, I am really deflated right now. I had all intentions on, working my way through this data center build out as promised, and it's just been nothing but trouble. I have a feeling it might be bug related. I'm not sure if it's on the Eve side or the Cisco side as of right now, but I'm going to take some time now to demonstrate what we're trying to do versus kind of the problem. And then, we'll probably make the decision to, uh, I'll say, simplify the design a little bit just so that we can work it from end to end and finally finish this thing. So, all we're trying to do, so let me go back to the topology here. Okay, so don't mind the stuff over here. We're going to get into the stuff on the right. This is my demonstration I want to do, okay? All we're trying to do is we did our core configurations, we did the top of rack. We're trying to work our way up to the firewall and then essentially build the VPCs the VPC between the firewall and the edge switches, okay? Same as we have for the cores and the firewall. We're connecting a device to two devices, which means it's a virtual port channel, and basically slapping some IP addresses or extending some VLANs and then slapping an address on after that. So it seems as though every time it seems when you have a VPC pair of switches and you try to connect a single device to them, I'm running into a problem where CDP or Cisco Discovery Protocol thinks that the connection is on the wrong interface, which is causing complete havoc with the configuration. So let me back up half a step. I didn't have an image that was doing the port channel stuff correctly. So I didn't have an iOS version that was capable of doing a port channel, a layer 3 device that had the ability to do a port channel appropriately. So I was trying to do a workaround using switches, which was even worse. I think that was causing more issues and making it less valid of a real life design. So I went down a rabbit hole of trying to find different images that we can play with that would give us better results. So just to kind of show you, I downloaded all the Dynamips images, which are just so old. I don't even want to be bothered with them, to be perfectly fair. I don't think they're relevant in today's networks. They're just ancient. They support the port channel functionality, but some of them don't allow you to do LACP. They force you to put channel group mode on, which is not ideal. And that had its own problems as well. I've tested all three of these, and I just did not like the results. I downloaded the CSR 1000V, which is decent, but it still gave me some issues when I had multiple switches. Okay, so VPC stuff. I even went as far as getting the latest greatest 8000V, which is actually what these are, and what these are currently. I think I'm going to move forward with the Catalyst 8Ks. But the problem that I think we're running into is having the multiple switches. So let me explain. So let's hop on the edge switches as we have them. And let's hop on the two internet routers as well. Okay, so Edge 1, Edge 2, iNet 1 and 2. I think Edge 2 is exhibiting the behavior as we speak. Okay. So when I do a show CDP neighbors on Edge 2, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able, let me just move this over. See if we can try to view this. Okay, let's see if that does it. Okay, good. So we're on DC1 Edge 2, which is this switch right here, okay? What CDP is telling us is that our local interface, ETH11, so in other words, this port here, it's telling us that it's connecting to DC1 INET02 on its Gig 1 interface. Well, that's not correct at all. It's connected to DC1 Internet 01 on its Gig 2 interface. So it's completely wrong. And you can see like we're getting failure messages already. So when this I can't fix this. I just cannot seem to get the CDP information to reflect clearly or correctly, and I'm trying to enforce a configuration of specific port channels, and it's all kinds of confused. It tells me that, oh, this port channel member is connected to a different device, so the port channel won't come up. So it's literally, I just can't do the configuration. It took me a pretty long time to kind of get back to this. This is a basic command, and it's a good demonstration on troubleshooting, because sometimes you immediately go to some of the deeper detailed configurations looking for problems, when in reality this is indicative of like a physical problem, right? Like somebody reversed the cables in a sense. So this is what's killing me, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. Now, I do want to just do a quick demonstration now. So all we're really trying to do, and maybe we leave it at this demonstration and then we can simplify the environment. So let me just get rid of those devices because we don't really need them for purposes of this. So on the left-hand side, I have the three 8K routers, okay? AK1's top left, AK2 is top right, AK3 is on the bottom. 8K3, and then Nexus, just a one Nexus 9kV switch is in the center, and we just have some cables going from each router to the switch. All right, there's no configuration on these puppies. I just turned them on. They're all basically just fired up. You can see that I went through the first time setup where it asks you for the enable secret and all that stuff. So there's nothing on these things. Okay. So let's just kind of go through what it is we're trying to do. It's not anything fancy. It's not anything special. It just doesn't seem to work when you have multiple Nexus switches. 8K3. Okay. These connections are going to be nothing more than a trunk. We've done 1,000 trunks to date as of now. We're just going to make these a trunk, and then what we're going to do is slap an IP address on behind it. So let's just do it. And the IPs that we're playing with, this is going to be the public side, right? So pretend this is internet. AK1 is internet 01, AK2 is internet 02, and AK3 would be the firewall in our real life topology. Let's just kind of simulate that here, and we're going to do the network public here. So AK1 is going to get 101.101 because it's router 1. AK2 is going to get 101.102 because it's router 2. And we'll make AK3 101.103 for purposes of this demonstration. Okay? So that's all we're going to do. And we're going to do some basic connectivity. Interface gig 1. We're going to no shut it. And by the way, see how it's doing this? You lose your prompt. See that? You can't see what you're typing. If you go to line con 0 and just type logging synchronous, okay? Now it won't move my cursor. It's always where it needs to be, okay? So that's not a bad command to get in the habit of doing. Okay. So this switch is fine, it doesn't have a con, who cares about that? So interface gig 1, we no shut them. All we're gonna do, actually let's just go to the switch first, sorry. Opt, host name, NXOS based on the little sample thing there. So interface E11, we're gonna do switch port switch port mode trunk, okay, and we're gonna say this is, let's just make it VLAN 101 because it starts with a 101. All right. So we know that we have to define VLAN 101. All right. Switch port mode trunk. Okay, fine. Ether. In fact, they're all going to be the same. So let's just go etherfit interface eth 1 to 3 switch port mode trunk. All right, AK1. So if we do show IP interface brief, we can see that it's up. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that VLAN number and we're gonna make a sub interface out of it. Okay, that's the baby step that I want to demonstrate here. It's like router on a stick basically. It's nothing more than that. Interface gig 1.101 encapsulation.1q 101. IP address is 101.101, right? 101.1, yeah, 101.1, right? We'll just make it a /24 because that's correct. All right. Do show IP interface brief. So now we have a sub interface for VLAN 101 hanging off of our gig 1 interface. Okay. Let's just quickly do the other two routers. One 101.102, 101.101, and then last but not least, 101.1.0.3. Okay. So you can see immediately I have connectivity. I mean, it's amazing. I did this in like less than 5 minutes. And as soon as I add the port channels with the two switches, it took me 8 hours to try to figure out what was going on. It's just mind-boggling to me. But this is effectively all we're trying to do, just with two added technologies in combination with it. So we've just proven that we can extend the VLAN just like we want to do amongst the three devices. Not rocket science. Let's add one piece to the puzzle. Let's add a redundant link from AK1 to the Nexus. So we'll just say gig 2 connects to 1.5. Okay. So now we have a second connection. So we're going to make that a port channel, and we're going to see if we can slap the IP address as a sub interface off the port channel. Okay, that's all we're going to do. So let's get rid of gig 1.101. So let's get rid of him. You'll see that the way iOS XE works, do show IP interface brief. We can see that it says it's deleted and down, but it kind of hangs out as a remnant. It won't disappear until you reboot the box. So don't sweat it. It's just one of those quirks with the operating system. Okay, so default interface gig 1. Okay, let's just get rid of what's on it, which should shut it down as well, I think, right? No, it didn't actually do that. Okay. So on a router, in order to do a port channel, if you try to go into gig 1 and say channel group 1 mode active, it's going to say channel group 1 is not configured. So, okay, fine. You have to do interface port channel 1, and literally just by typing that command, it creates port channel 1. All right. So it created it, however, it's down. All right. And we have to go through the negotiation and all that with the switch. So that's to be expected, right? So let's go into gig 1 and let's try to attach him again. Okay, now it takes it, okay? And then gig 2 needs to get bundled in as well, okay? So gig 2, we'll no shut it. Line con 0 logging synchronous. I thought I did it, right? Interface gig 2, no shut, channel group 1 mode active. So after we type this, we should see show ether channel summary. All right, we can see that we have port channel 1. All right, it's routed but down. It's using LACP, and we can see the member interfaces. They're suspended, and again, that's because the switch is not talking LACP. So let's get the switch. Well, yeah, before we put the IP address on, let's get the port channel up with the switch side. Okay, so if we show run interface E11, E15, 11 has trunk on it, 15 is default. Okay, so what we want to do is switch port mode, trunk, channel group, we'll say 1, it doesn't really matter, mode, active. So it tells us the feature is not turned on, so let's just do that real quick. Okay, so we've activated feature LACP. Unfortunately, we have to get back into those ports. Channel group 1 mode active. It should take it. Now we have to go into interface port channel 1, switch port mode trunk. Okay, and in this case, it's not a VPC, right? Which I think is what may be causing the problems that we're seeing. So in this case, it's just a regular port channel between two devices. All right. So show port channel summary. I thought I put them in there, did I not? That's really goofy. Oh, maybe I didn't put it back on after I activated the feature. Interface E11, E15, channel group 1 mode active. What am I missing here? Okay. Interface port channel 1, switch port mode trunk. So we can see the action has started from the router's perspective. Okay, it came right up, right up, just like we would expect it. This is what I've been wanting to do in the real design for the last day and a half. So show port channel summary. We can see, and this is weird. I want to point this out too, because I don't know if this is like coming into play or not. We'll see that ping should work once I put the IP addresses on this stuff, but I do want to point something out. When we show ether channel summary on the router side, okay, it tells us it's a routed, okay, so RU, that means that it's layer 3, right, and it's in use, as opposed to capital S, which is switched in use. So that's a little weird to me. It's not preventing any of the functionality in this particular case, but I just wanted to point that out. It's a little odd. So show IP interface brief. So we're going to basically take that same IP address, 101, under port channel. So we're going to go port channel 1.101 for the sub interface, encapsulation.1q 101. And we're going to try to put 101.10.1/24 on a sub interface of the port channel. So no qualms, it looks like it took it just fine. Let's try to ping 101.102, which is router 2. It works like a champ. All right, let's try to ping 3. Works like a champ. So I could essentially make a port channel between the router 2 and the Nexus and router 3 and the Nexus, and we can move on and finish this topology. As soon as I add a second switch and build a VPC pair, CDP gets all jacked up, it doesn't see what's what, and it breaks the entire configuration. So I just wanted to point out the original design is valid. I have seen it in production environments a dozen times or more. It's pretty commonplace. It's not something that's just a corner case situation. I know that it works, it functions. It seems like it's some weird thing with the lab that is just preventing me from putting it on there. I will restart the lab just to see. The other thing I did, let me see if I can drag it over here. I went out on Cisco's site just to kind of see, and I looked up for the 8000V. Okay, so what I'm running right now, so if we go back to one of the 8Ks and we do a show ver, I'm running the 1712 4B, which if we go back here, that's here. Okay, you can see it's mainline deployment. It's got the gold star. That typically means that, you know, it's the one Cisco recommends at the time. There shouldn't be a ton of bugs or catastrophic bugs. You know, I say that loosely, but I've done my due diligence and I'm using a gold star version. I did just download this version as well. I can try to I'm going to bring another version of the 8000V into EVE-NG with this version, and I can try to rule out maybe it's something with the 8K. Like I said, I don't necessarily think it is, based on this sample little test that we just did. So I'm not sure. I can try messing with versions on the 9KV if possible. I can see if I can entertain that as well. So I just, you know, I don't want to disappoint anybody and not be able to finish this. I want to finish it, but it just seems like either Eve or the Cisco images are just really fighting me tooth and nail over it. So I think what we'll probably end up doing, to be honest, if I can't figure out how to make this work with a VPC pair like we originally want it, I'm just going to build it like, you know, this little sample topology here in the bottom right. We can do the port channels, you know, and it'll be pretty close to what we were trying to accomplish, but just not a VPC pair. You know, maybe if you wanted to use your imagination, maybe this switch is a chassis that has dual supervisors and multiple line cards, and gig 1 out of the router connects to line card 1, gig 2 connects to line card 2. So we're getting that same level of redundancy, if you will, as opposed to just doing the VPC pair. So it's still valid. It's just disappointing to me because I really wanted to kind of demonstrate it like a real life situation. So I wanted to get that off my chest. It took me a lot of hours yesterday and burnt a lot of time, you know, made me very disappointed. But I think given what I've shown you here, right, the fact that we can ping and have connectivity through a port channel sub interface and a single switch, we'll just go that way. So sorry, thank you, and you know, maybe I think what we'll do next video is, like I said, if I can't figure out versions and make it work, I'm just going to modify the topology to be one switch in the center here, and we'll kind of go about it that way. If as long as I don't face any bugs and issues, we should be able to get through the rest of the topology fairly quickly, and we can still do some failover testing and all that stuff. So thanks again, and like I said, apologies for the detour here, but I feel like it's out of my hands. So I will talk to you guys on the next video. Thank you.